Is that an advent calendar or is that okay? Cool. I thought it was a puzzle. I was like,
Countdown
no.
calendar.
I'm about puzzles. All right, welcome to episode 197 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining us this week, we have the full crew here. So, returning from the ether, Chris.
Booga booga booga.
We also have Steven.
Gobble, gobble.
And finally, Chase.
G'day.
I thought you were going to like get gobble or something just to try and mix it in there with the rest of them.
He's too cool for that.
He is.
Yep.
He's very cool. Confused the hell out of me because he had zoomed his camera in and I was convinced he moved his desk and trying to think, why would he move his desk like 2 feet back? Like, why? But no, just the camera. So, whatever. I have no visual capability of determining that. Oh, man. So this week we've got a little bit of news to talk about. The weird Xbox showcase, partner showcase that happened, showing off a lot of the things. One surprising announcement I'm just going to bitch about because it just isn't working for me. As well as we've got a couple of deaths in the gaming community, sadly, as well as a little bit of news from Sony suing people. So we'll see about that. But before we get into that, let's jump into what we've been doing. And Chris, since we haven't talked to you in a while, man, what you been up to? What you doing?
Well, I was away visiting family for about a month, so I was away from my rig, and that meant I couldn't play anything with particular oomph. So I've been playing a lot of text games. I played Werewolf the Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest, and Vampire the Masquerade, Night Road. They're both pretty interesting because they're a mix of choose-your-own-adventure and tabletop RPGs. It's essentially a choose-your-own-adventure book where you level up. And
Ooh.
it's pretty fun. Both of them pretty fun. They both teach you about the lore, which is also really cool. And, yeah, they were both very entertaining if you're into that kind of thing. I was also getting a bit into Hades 2, and I finished Pokemon ZA Legends. So that's how I spent the month.
Oh, I haven't finished the story on that one yet. I'm still working on mine. So, nice.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it reminds me that Microsoft made Zork open source 1, 2, and 3 now.
I was about to quietly add that into the speedrun because, like, oh, I forgot to add that. And I was like, nah, never mind. We got it now. Because I thought about bringing it
how
up.
people will work with that because I'm excited to see what people come out with.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see it. So it was all 3 games that they put out there, huh?
Yep.
Nice. All right. Well, Steven, what about you? What you been up to?
Well, I decided to get back into ZZZ, and I've got 4 days before the next character happens, so I had to save some. I'm saving some money for that.
I'm about to say, do you just try and time this game with your paychecks? Like,
trying to get some gold ready for that. I resubscribed to the monthly subscription so I can get my daily stuff. Log in every day.
Nice.
Chris and I have still been hammering through Power Wash Simulator 2. Still, we had one level that did hey, there's 99% and you're missing a speck on a brick on a window across the plains. You can always tell when to stop because they'll always do a $3,000 job, a $200 job, $500 job. And then they'll be like, do you want to keep going? Here's another $3,000 job, which is like an entire like bus station or something. You're like, we should stop here.
It's like the chapter's over. Next.
I've finally been planning because I canceled my Disney Plus and then I ordered some photos and they were like, do you want Disney Plus for $5 for 3 months? 3 months, $5 each month, and I was just like, why not? I'll cancel it immediately and just have the 3 months. So I was like, okay, I'll have it again. And I was just like, okay. Told my wife we should catch up on Marvel before Spider-Man and the big event. So we did watch one out of order already. We were supposed to watch Captain America. We're gonna go back to that. But we watched Thunderbolts because I thought it would be a nice icebreaker after so long because it's a lot of people you remember, a lot of stars you like. Yeah,
Really
that
like
was
that
done
one.
pretty good. They did do one character extremely dirty, so I do get why they didn't like that.
Yeah, that was
Well,
surprising.
You kill off the character, you rob it blind, and then you incinerate it. And I was just like, whoa, keep going. I was like, that was mean. And then finally, I finished Ball X Pit. Somebody else, by look of his achievements, had finished it before me.
I
But
didn't ask you to look at the achievements. That's your own fault.
Spoilers.
I finally, basically, I bought every building I made my entire town fully expanded. I got check marks next to every character, so I was just like, okay. And there is a character that'll just play the game for you. He's one of the last characters you get. So I was like, well, this is neat. I can catch up on some things while just looking at TikToks. So that was interesting to see. Because then,
Are you really playing a game at that point?
Because apparently the self-playing character completed the game while I had my head down. I looked up and I was like, that's different from my normal ending. I was just like, it's the ending. Oh, geez, I should unmute this.
Good Lord. That's almost like in Vampire Survivor, you get like so powerful, you can just set the thing down and walk away. You're like, yeah, I'll be fine. It's going to kill whatever's coming at me.
Do that when it says like somebody has to live for like 30 minutes or supposed to kill 100,000 of these, and you're like, okay, I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. You just kind of buff yourself to have one little zone and you're like, all right, I'm good.
I do have lots of choices what to do next. I think I might get back into Chronos. There is a game mentioned in the Microsoft event I'm interested in because one of my YouTubers I follow that Chris Chase knows as well, G-Man Lives, it's just like, this game's awesome. It's so good. And the entire time he was playing it, I can only think of one game, but I'll cover that later.
Okay. All right, Chase, what about you? What you been doing?
Been playing War Tales still, kind of continuing loosely here and there. Warhammer 40k Retribution, Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Finally finished the campaign, so done with that. Put that off to the side. So that way I can focus solely on Mechanicus. Yeah, that soundtrack gets me every time. It's such a good game. Such a good soundtrack. Yeah, definitely I'm really looking forward to Mechanicus too. Really enjoying Mechanicus. I'm looking forward to the quality of life improvements that Mechanicus 2 brings. And then also just started a game that I intended to play ages ago, but then on the PS4, but then I thought, oh, well, it's coming out on Switch, so maybe I'll just like wait and get it on Switch. I finally just got it. I finally tried it because it's available in the PlayStation catalog for PS Plus Deluxe and Premium people. So I decided to give Battle Chasers Night War a shot. It's I guess
Joe Madureira?
Huh?
Joe Madureira with his artwork, right?
Yep. Yeah, the Darksiders.
I've got to meet him. I got him to sign some of my stuff. The guy's actually really cool.
Yeah, I really like the artwork of the game. I kind of always felt like, oh yeah, this would be a really good Switch game because it's basically just JRPG. I think is the best way to describe it.
If you lived closer, I still have the original comics from this too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't seen any of those, but game's all right. Like, excuse me, I enjoy the game. The only thing is, though, is that the game kind of has these moments where, like, all of a sudden it just slams you with this difficulty spike where it's like almost mathematically impossible to beat it, and it's just like, and it's just kind of like, why? Like, well,
is it one of those like you can't get past it unless you figure out the magic bullet? You know, like whatever you've got to do to get past that, or is it just
kind of
difficult?
It's just quite difficult, and like sometimes the enemies just are quite powerful, and they can do like some pretty crazy stuff, and it's just like, holy shit. So yeah, it's definitely one of those games that just kind of has these weird moments where you're just like, where it just kind of annoys you a little bit, and then you're just like, okay. And then you just like pause, refresh yourself, and just like carry on. But overall, I am enjoying it. But I do think I don't want to invest too much time in the PS5, technically PS4, PS5 version, because I think I probably will get this on Switch. Because I think it probably is maybe slightly better Switch game.
I have it on Switch, but it's one that I got because I love the comics and the art, but I never really got around to messing with. So I'll have to give that a shot and kind of tell you how it runs. Because I'll try it on a Switch 1 and see if it's improved on the Switch 2, just to kind of give you a heads up on that one.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Like I said, I straight up bought it because I was like, oh shit, Battle Chasers. Like I remember I still have the first issues, like the whole run of when this came out, way back. Like this was before I even met my wife. It's how far back this was. So, yeah.
So does the comics like tell the story leading up to the game? Basically, is that kind of what it is?
I think so. Like I pulled up the cover art from my, in the app from the game, and like all the characters, their first time they're running into each other, and all the ones you see there when they, find the Mechanicus and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's crazy. Good book though, because he had that was back, like there was Battle Chasers, Crimson, and a few other series kind of from different creators in that same grouping at that time, trying out new publishers and stuff. Good books though. I don't think they ever finished the story, so I'm kind of curious. Maybe this is actually that might get me into it if it's actually continuing the story it ended with.
Yeah, I don't know because I knew that there was comics, but I didn't actually know if like it was. I'm assuming it's some type of continuous story, but
yeah, it kind of goes back and forth on that. Like, I would have to figure out what the what the time period this is covering, because I was just looking at the cover art for it.
Yeah.
So, okay, nice. I'll have to. I'm going to dig back in. I got to fix my shelf to get my comic books back in here anyway, so I can catalog them again, and that'll give me an excuse to pull those out. Because right now they're all in storage. I needed the space. So for myself, we went and saw Wicked for Good the other night. Jennifer wanted to go see it, so it's the first time she's gone to a movie on an opening night for a later showing. She absolutely loved it. She was singing through the whole thing. I enjoyed the movie. It was really good. Just kind of a nice continuation from it. I will tell you now, once the credits roll, there is no after credits, so you can go. You don't have to sit there and wait. They didn't do anything like that. But yeah, definitely enjoyed it. Another movie Amanda and I watched, we watched this one at home. I didn't realize they had a theatrical run for it, but Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. It's a very long movie, but it is very well done. With Oscar Isaac as Frankenstein, and I didn't know the actor that played the creature. Apparently he's known from like Euphoria and a few other shows I haven't watched, but he was really good in that role. He's already like a very naturally tall guy. But they didn't make him like, weird colors and all disfigured. He just looks like he was kind of pieced together pretty well. And following the story from that, really good use of color, which, Del Toro kind of does a lot. If you ever watch the Hellboy movies or, The Shape of Water, stuff like that, he loves to use color as a tonal thing for a lot of stuff. And that's very much the case here again as it goes through. But they kind of separate it into parts where you've got Frankenstein telling his story and then the creature telling his side of it as different parts, which is really nice, kind of to match what happens in one to the other until they finally slam in together. What?
Just the way I'm thinking of it, Frankenstein just like, so I made this monster and he's been rampaging, and then the creature gets to speak and he's like, oh!
He's quite eloquent by this point, so because a lot of the tales he can speak. It was more of the old movies that tried to make him out to be, unable to talk.
I'm thinking of Mel Brooks putting on the Ritz.
Oh god, Young Frankenstein is still the best. I love that one.
Was Hideo Kojima in this movie?
No, I didn't see him in there.
Oh, bromance is over.
Oh man. But you talking about Young Frankenstein, I just keep thinking about, which brain did you use? Abby. What? Abby normal. Oh no. Game wise, I'm still continuing Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which I'm really enjoying, but I finally got to try some split screen with a friend of mine that came by last night, and I'm happy to say that like it still runs really well. Like we were playing it was fine. They're like, oh, but it brings it down to 30 FPS. I'm like, yeah, there's still a shit ton of stuff going on, and you still have both screens running. You're still all over the map doing things. Like, it ran better in this mode than a lot of the older games ran normally. So that's fine. And yeah, there's a noticeable difference when you go back to single player, but that's kind of the case for every kind of split screen game. Unless they really chop down the graphics, they're going to usually run about half frame. Like, that's standard. But it worked really well. you can hop in and out of it. So I was very happy with that. I guess the next one I have to try is with one of the boys, because he got a copy of it, is trying system to system, because that one's supposed to stay at 60. And then I kind of want to mess around with game share just to see how that runs, because I haven't really messed with game share that much.
Make
I know,
sure to point at each other.
yeah, but say you and Chris have tried game share way more than I have, but I'm still really enjoying it. Story's going really well. It's a long game. Like, there's a lot of content, and it got me looking at a couple of the old, the actual Muso games as they were coming out. I saw a few of them for 360 the other day that I thought about picking up, just to see what they had. But I got Kirby's Air Riders that came out, and I've been playing it. Jennifer is actually playing it right now. I set my Switch 2 up in the living room on Junior's dock so she can play it, because she doesn't have a Switch 2 and we're not buying her one yet. But I did get the amiibos that came with that and got to use those. These things are hefty, because I know, Steven, you got them as well. They've got a lot of weight to them. Yeah, they do cost more than a lot of the other ones, but they're technically 2 amiibos, so I kind of get it. But they're definitely
superchargers.
Yeah, no kidding. I do like the fact the bases are kind of a clear, sparkly, transparent, though. Like, that's a new one for those. But the game itself, I've been actually really enjoying. I've been doing the road trip mode. I think I've already unlocked like almost 70 different things on the puzzle for that.
Have you seen the creations people have made?
Both good and horrible, yes.
You don't like Bikini Chef?
Not even Bikini Chef. Like, I've seen some of them where they turn like the Warp Star into, like, I think one of them made it look like a Patrick Star in a bikini, and I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
I do like the ones that were like Game Cubes and stuff like that. So
those are really neat, yeah. Because I know what ship they probably used for that one. So it's quite creative. The one thing I thought was really funny, and we've talked about this before, because like I like listening to different reviews for games, even if they're ones I've already bought or I know I'm getting, because I want to hear different opinions on it. And a few people throwing a fit or giving it bad reviews because they were acting like the menus were too much like Smash Brothers, or one of them even claimed it stole the design from Smash Brothers or was trying to be it. And I'm like, do you understand who made Smash Brothers? Like, he also made this. His wife does the menu designs. So there's a style they're going to stick with. Like, this is where it came from. And I just, it's really funny seeing the comments, people just calling him out for it too.
40 out of 100.
Yeah. I think you posted one of the reviews that was kind of giving it
like,
a bad
the tired formula and the game sucked already. 40 out of 100.
I've been enjoying this one more than the original one, honestly. This one feels like it controls better, it runs better, it looks better. I've just been kind of following through on it, and a few spots have been hit or miss.
That Crossworlds wished it could be, and I'm like, okay.
They're both racing games, but this is a different flavor of it. Like, you do handle the racing and the mechanics very differently than you do a standard racing game, which is fine. This isn't replacing Mario Kart. It's not going to be replacing, Crossworlds, but it is its own unique thing that I think is worth having.
Yeah, they said they will support it with in-game events for 1 full year. So
that's fine. I'm just happy the whole thing's on the cart and I get to play it. I think you get like the one main update for online mode and that's it. And I was like, all right. Still no use for the gummies. I've just been messing with those. I was just like, it's like, hey, I can play with physics, which is great. Vampire Survivors, I finally finished more of the adventures, but I'm having so much frustration with the ice one, because every time I try and start it, it's just getting through that first mission seems so freaking difficult to survive long enough, because they're so limited on what they give you. It's just frustrating me, but I've got a lot of them done. I finished the Contra one, which was a lot of fun. Working through Castlevania and the what's the other one? There's a couple of them I'm running through. I have all the DLC for it, but that's been nice to pick up since I moved it off my Steam Deck onto my Switch 2 instead. And then lastly, the thing I've been trying to get working before this show that completely failed was trying to get the Xbox full screen experience to work on my Legion Go, which we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit because of the announcements later, but that was supposed to have launched yesterday, for handheld PCs and a lot of devices. I have gone through every step I can think of for this thing. I've gotten into the Insider program. I've downloaded the beta versions of Windows that includes it, made sure the Xbox app is updated, and it will not recognize to put the ability to turn that option or even have it show up. And it is driving me mad. I just want to try the damn thing out on my Xbox handheld. Come on.
Wait, so you mean the company that uses AI to write 30% of their code has something not working?
Yes, to no one's surprise. If they asked it about AI, yeah.
You should ask AI how to fix it.
I refuse. I will brute force
No,
this
not
shit
you,
or it
yeah,
will not
but
work.
Microsoft should, or Legion Go should.
Someone was trying to say, it's like, well, maybe your device is not supported. And I'm like, it's a Legion Go. It's a Windows 11 PC. It's been out for a while, longer than some of the ones that they've gotten support for more directly. It's like, just do it.
Oh,
Work.
then that goes to the other article I showed Chris that said Microsoft admitted that all the core elements of Windows 11 have problems.
I'm not even surprised at this point. All right, so we'll stop from that complaint and move over to the group chat real quick. So, pickups for this week. I don't know, Steven, if you had any. I pretty much all of mine were the amiibos, but
one was shown I got from the grocery store.
Grocery store find,
which is an activity that you can make ornaments, or you can use this to count down till for the holidays. It's out of order, so I don't know what you're supposed to do with them. But it's not.
You're
being
supposed to
opened
jump
ever.
around for those things. They're always really
it's not
weird.
being opened ever anyway.
Ah.
My job has a kudos system where you collect points, and when you get enough points, you can order stuff. So I got my copy of Age of Imprisonment. This is how I buy my Nintendo games now because they never go down in price.
Fair enough.
So I have that copy. I did get some limited run stuff as well. I got Eartheon, which is a shmup that Yuzo Koshiro does a lot of the music for. So it's known to be just like a return, and it says return to the genesis of 16-bit gaming. That's a pun. Chronicles of the Wolf, that's supposed to be like Metroidvania-like, even down to the pixel art. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot and see how that is. I'm going to have time on my trip. Fear Effect, which if you don't want to buy it digitally for $2, you can get the physical. But I always liked the series.
Is that just the first game?
Yeah, the second one's going to be separate.
Okay.
Because I think that one just got announced.
I think I still have the original PlayStation.
I got the deluxe edition because it was on sale on Amazon of Tomb Raider 4 through 6. Nice. It came with a steelbook, which is dead to me. With the greatest hit soundtrack, which it doesn't even say how many tracks it does, but it has not an art book, but a map book. And for people watching the video version of this, instead of regular maps, it shows you the 3D model basically of each level, so you can tell where to go to get all the secrets, like where there's like a way to go. So it's all done in the 3D format. And I thought,
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of miss when like magazines and stuff would put out maps like that, where they just would walk around and take photos of everything and kind of compile a map.
Yeah, because it definitely looks like that.
Because I remember the first ones of like Super Mario 64.
I also got I love collections of things. I did get the Golden Tee Classics because that was like $20 at Best Buy.
I saw that at Best Buy
because they're all doing their Black Fridays now. And then lastly, from Limited Run, I did get some Phantasy Star Online stuff that finally shipped. So I got the acrylic standee set. So I got to set these up to go with my other acrylic standees. And I got other stuff, but I didn't open it yet for Phantasy Star. But yes, I got the Amiibos as well at Spin.
Did you get both or just the Kirby?
I got Waddle Dee, yeah.
Okay. I ended up opening mine so quickly because they
would have had more. I would have had a bunch of key cards to show you, but they didn't come yet, so maybe next time.
Nice. Chase, you have anything you picked up this week?
Nothing I picked up this week. I'm debating. Shanoa's giving me the green light. I'm just debating on if I want to actually get the collector's edition of Dark Heresy.
You do.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. It's
you got like the green light. We're gonna be the person just egging you on to make this poor financial decision. Do it.
You get an art book. Looks like a pretty sizable art book. You get a novella with it as well. You also get like a 25 centimeter statue of one of your companions, as well as you get like some.
Go.
So from the rest of the council of terrible financial decisions, Steven and Chris, do you sign off on him getting this?
Yes.
Chris?
Sure, why not?
Chris is like, I don't know what this is. I don't really care. Go ahead and get it.
When Chris
He said, they can't see me. I'm just going to lean
How
back.
much is this? Turns it over and says, I don't care. And he buys it. So he knows. He knows the feeling.
That doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't happen very often anymore, but when it does, that's one of those things where you're like, I don't care.
I had picked up a couple Switch games earlier, but I left them in the other room, and I'll deal with those in another week or whatever.
On the other news for pickups, watch this space, because I might be getting another PC here pretty soon.
Steam machine?
No, actual PC.
I'm still iffy about that 5070 we were talking about. I'm like, I don't like that thing. But
No, I've not going that route, because
the alternative we talked about.
Yeah, potentially.
Oh, okay, that'll be interesting.
Do they make a model up from that, like like a 6-7?
We're too old to understand what the fuck that means. Just even stop it.
Hey, it's dictionary.com's word of the year for 2025.
Look, we're getting old enough we're supposed to be afraid of new phrases without learning what they are.
Don't disrespect something that has absolutely no meaning whatsoever.
I'm not disrespecting it. No one will explain it to me, so I'm just like, all right.
I just did. It doesn't mean anything.
I don't even know how to take that. All right, let's move on.
If it has no meaning, then how is it in the dictionary?
Ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you give definition to something that has no meaning?
Yeah.
It's like, how do you kill something that has no life?
The word indefinable is also in the dictionary.
And gullible.
Well, that's just... God damn it. All right, let's move on to the news. So, starting off this week on a sad note, Rebecca Burger Becky Heineman has passed away from cancer at the age of 62. And for a lot of people that may not be aware of her, she is really big into the history of gaming. She started off, she was the Atari 2600 National Space Invaders champion in 1980, making her the first champion of a national U.S. video game tournament ever. Then turned around and used that to get work as a developer, where she did certain things, that she was responsible for the Bard's Tale 3, The Thief of Fate, Dragon Wars, Out of This World on Super Nintendo, which the description of how she got that to work with the restrictions Interplay put on it are great to hear, because they didn't want to go with a Super FX chip. They still wanted it in 3D. They wouldn't give her the fast enough RAM, so she found ways to code it to get it to run at the higher clock speeds without requiring it. Like, she was absolutely phenomenal at what she did for these things. A lot of people know her from the Doom and Wolfenstein 3D ports for 3DO, especially Doom, because she was given 10 weeks to do it. Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, there's a YouTuber, Stop Skeletons from Fighting. He has a story about the 3DO Doom, and that is a must-watch for anybody who hasn't seen it. It features her prominently throughout the whole thing with interviews, how she was just like, they expected me to do this. And the guys who had the rights to the Doom were like, well, we have pictures and the game itself, so just rip the stuff from the game and make it better. And she's like, that's not how things work.
Yeah, that's not how that works at all.
So like, watching that was hilarious, because the guy was just so out of it. He's just like, just take this and do something impossible. And she's just like, well, all right.
Yeah, some of the guys from Famicom Dojo that we've had on the show prior, when we did some earlier extra quarters, like about the Wii U and stuff like that, they had some really good interviews with her, because they were friends with her and looked up a lot of stuff. So watch their stuff as well, because like, this woman was amazing for a lot of the stuff she worked on. But after doing that and working on so many other titles, she went on to help found Interplay Productions, which made a lot of the games I used to love playing when I was younger, still play now. But she took it from the 4 people that started it, her being one of them, all the way up to 600 employees when it was a publicly traded company. Before she moved on, she co-founded Logicware Inc. for Macintosh development, then her own company called Contraband Entertainment, which she then sold to her next company called Old School. which is where it's still residing, and she was a chief executive officer from 2013 until her passing now. Some of the stuff I wasn't even aware of until I researched it, but she was involved with development of the Xbox 360 at Microsoft's Xbox division, the PlayStation 3 and the PS4 and the Vita at Sony for their their entertainment research and development division, and ended up working on over 200 games on multiple platforms over her life. So I guarantee there is a title or a system or some way you've been affected by her work over this time. So yeah, because I mean, I guess we're kind of skipping ahead, but like the Xbox 360 today, as of recording, it's its 20th anniversary of that coming out. And I know all of us here played the hell out of that thing. I know Chase, you and I have talked about it because that's where Gears of War started, was on the 360. And, you know, that was a really big system for a lot of people. Same thing for the PS3, the 4, maybe not so much the Vita, but yeah, you know what? Be mad at me. I don't care.
Vita is like
only by definition. Oddly enough, Vita comes up in Frankenstein. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, it was sad that she went. She's with her wife at this point because she had passed away a little while back. So now, you know, however you believe in afterlife or whatever, they can do with their thing. I think for her belief was more Valhalla. So, hey, there you go.
Yeah, her medical GoFundMe is now for her funeral services.
Yes. But if you get to go find her interview, she always was willing to talk to people about the history of these things and so forth. So that's part of why she was always there, because she wanted the history to be remembered and talked about. And so she always made time for interviews. She was in so many different documentaries. I'm pretty sure she's in Atari's the Atari 50. I think she pops up in that for talking about some of the stuff. Which, you know, I just got
At the very least for Space Invaders.
Yeah, so I just got the updated version of that, so I'm sure there's even more in there. Like a lot of the other documentaries and interviews we've seen before, she's out there, so definitely give that a watch. So yeah, she'll be missed. She was a big member of the gaming community. All right, next up, developer Panic Button revealed that they had worked with Nintendo. They were selected particularly by Nintendo to update a number of the Switch 1 titles to enhance for the Switch 2 at launch. And Steven, this is one you actually pointed out to me at first because I wasn't aware of it. But they said, quote, Nintendo asked us to help demonstrate new capabilities of the Nintendo Switch 2 system while remaining faithful to the original games. So they worked on titles from like Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, ARMS, and a bunch more. So, and I think, Steven, you and I both had the thought of, why has Nintendo not purchased this company yet to bring them in?
They literally said at their last financials that they plan to do some acquisitions.
Panic Button would be a good
year. One. So I'm like, Panic Button, dude.
Because, so keep in mind, this is the same company that did Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, Wolfenstein, the new Colossus, and a bunch of other games that are considered like the impossible ports on the Switch that run better than they have any right to. Like just amazingly well. If that's the only way you could play the game, you're missing out on some stuff, but not to the extent you would think. Like they're perfectly playable. So I don't know. I can't really think of that many more like really good porting houses beyond these guys.
Sony bought the other one.
Yeah, that's the other reason we kind of want Nintendo to maybe pick these guys up, or Sony grabs them.
Yeah, Sony bought Blue Point, so Panic Button. There's only Panic Button and Virtuos, and I think Virtuos is kind of hit or miss, but Panic Button knocked it out of the park.
I can't think of any ports they've done that have not been good.
It's kind of like Night Dive versus Aspire. Night Dive goes the extra mile. Aspire just does it.
Yeah.
They'll go to the exact distance to the foot. Night Dive will go as long as it needs.
So
Night Dive made an event. So we fixed a bunch of things. We made it amazing.
Chris, that joke was so bad you need to repeat it so we can have that clearly on the show. Please say it again.
You could say they don't aspire too much.
Thank you.
You're fired.
I heard that in the background was like, oh my God. Yeah, so
you have me on the show, you have to have these things.
Hey, it's why I asked you to repeat it, because I want to make sure everybody heard that.
I mean, Spire isn't like
Developers need their
terrible.
games to look better. They
Yeah.
hit the panic button.
They're not terrible, but they have made some really bad mistakes before, and they'll get the job done like just as far as they need to, but they don't always. They sometimes overpromise because they were the ones that messed up. What was it, Knights of the Republic 2? They were supposed to add in all the DLC and they didn't do it. And
Yeah,
had problems
probably.
running, and
They did. I haven't touched their remaster of Republic Commando, but I did
That one
play
wasn't bad.
I did play the remaster of Soul Reaver 1 and 2, and that
Mhm.
ran fine. I thought that was okay. So I mean,
yeah.
they've had some lemons. They've definitely had some stinkers, but they've also had some fine ones.
Yeah, I don't. It's not like I see them and like immediately turn around, going like, "Oh, I'm not going to get that." I'm just like,
Yeah,
"Oh, let this be one of the good ones."
yeah. You just gotta like,
Yeah, same thing with Virtuos. You're just like, I hope you guys did a good job. You didn't rush it.
yeah.
That's how it usually
Oh.
comes down to it. Because I will say the Switch version of Republic Commando is really good. Like they did a good job. It runs good. It's fun to play. So if you ever end up picking that one up, you're good. You'll have fun with it.
Nice.
So.
I don't know. Maybe Nintendo doesn't feel they need to acquire these guys though, because I mean they're eating good as it is anyway. They're eating good right now.
They are. I mean, it's a good sign that they're giving. I mean, because that's asking a lot. Going like, hey, take these games, some of our most popular ones, and we're going to give you the keys to the kingdom to modify and update them to
Mushroom
show off.
Kingdom.
Yeah. Thank you. We're just full of bad jokes today.
Try the veal.
Yeah, keys to the Princess Peach's castle here, to be able to take these named games and show off their new hardware. And they did a good job. Like a lot of these games with their updates, especially like Mario Odyssey and ARMS and stuff like that, like really run better, but don't break the games. You know, 3D World, especially the Bowser's Fury part, if you go back and play that now, it's night and day from what it was on the Switch, which it wasn't bad, but now it's running at like a full 60 FPS. It's not getting those weird slowdowns that were happening because they were pushing it beyond what it could do. It's just fun to play an open world part of Mario before, you know, the other ones were. So they gave him that trust, but I'm worried that just like with Blue Point, you know, Sony or someone else be like, well, we're just going to go ahead and gobble you up so Nintendo can't use you anymore. And then, you know, our best chance then would be people leaving the company and just getting hired at Nintendo.
Yeah.
So we shall see. All right. Speaking of one Nintendo development, let's talk about kind of another. So we've talked about this before, but the Analogue 3D, which is the Nintendo 64 system, FPGA system by Analogue, has finally launched. We have been wondering for a while, how does it run? What can it do? I really wanted to get one, but was iffy about would it do enough to warrant based on, I already have a Nintendo 64. I did the RGB mod for it, runs through a RetroTink 4K. It scales it beautifully. Like, do I need to get this equipment to get a better video feed? And initially I was like, I don't really need to. It looks fine and I'm good. Then they decided to show that they actually could do more with the games. And this is what kills me. Like, Analogue really needs to have somebody talk to their marketing department. Like, they dropped the ball so bad. Because there's like three main things that you could do on this that really improve stuff. So one is the fact that it has a ability to boost different levels of stuff, either the CPU, the RAM, or the GPU in those combinations to basically overclock the games. So a lot of these titles are now running faster. Like if they had an open frame rate, now some of them are hitting 60 while they're running, or if they, you know, had a cap of 30, they're hitting it consistently. Like it's a night and day change. Like I saw a video showing Conker's Bad Fur Day, the opening, which that game was really good looking on the N64, and it ran fairly well. But you see just the opening when he's drunkenly walking into the bar, which is the main menu, and it looks way choppier when you see how smooth it's running on the new system. And I was like, okay, that's transformative at that point. Like I really want to use it for games like Space Station Silicon Valley, which is an early DMA designs game, which the guys that later became Rockstar.
What does DMA stand for?
I have no idea.
Doesn't mean anything.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. That explains why every time I looked it up, that's probably all it said.
Much
Uh,
like 6-7.
Like 6-7. Damn it, Chris brought it back. I give it at least a year or two before we see like a 6-7 Productions just popping
Yeah.
up. You know, someone's going to do it. Some kid probably already has. But they were showing that game running like nice and smooth. Like, and it's a fun game, but it's a rough game from back then. So I'm really looking forward to playing that and getting the better enjoyment out of it. If you've never played that game, you should give it a shot. It is hilarious and full of a lot of Scottish humor. Basically, you're playing as a walking computer chip that can take over robot animals that can kill other animals and then take over their bodies and work your way up the food chain. It's just dumb in the best way. They also found out that the N64 would render out the color in 32-bit, but then would drop it down to 16-bit whenever it was putting out the analog signal. And I was like, okay, that's a little bit of a color difference. But when they actually showed what it looks like now that it can put that 32-bit all the way through, so much detail from textures you did not notice before shows up. And I'm talking about like parts of The Legend of Zelda where there's like carpeting on the ground with like patterns in it you could barely make out before, or grass textures that look a lot better and things like that. And you can tweak all these things, by the way, per game. So it's not, it's not going to work on every one of them. Like some of them you can't enhance because they will run too fast, or so forth. But it's kind of amazing for that. But the biggest thing also with the enhancement is how it helps with multiplayer, because now you can run, those 4-player games just fine with everybody doing stuff, which means I really want to have a GoldenEye where everyone just has mines and see how fast we can break it. Because did you guys ever play that where you're just throwing mines everywhere? Yeah, I think we crashed the N64 a few times doing that, between that and Perfect Dark. The last thing they did confirm that, they do have internal memory, so you don't have to use the memory cards anymore, which is nice. So you can kind of have that identified to each of the games themselves, and we'll see what other kind of updates they have going on. But like, it's really impressive for what it was. Thankfully, they did announce that this upcoming Monday, which is going to be the 24th, they are opening up pre-orders for another run they're going to sell through that ship on December 2nd. I'm going to try really hard to get one. They hiked the price a little bit, so now it's $279, or $269. It was like $250, I think, originally. So we're paying about $20 more, which they did say is because of tariffs. Like, to get more of them, they're having to pay that higher amount now. But yeah, are any of you interested at all in this? Like, I know, Chase, you don't have much in the way of physical titles and stuff like this. It'd be kind of hard to get.
Yeah.
But like,
All my N64 stuff's still back home in the States. So
what about you, Steven? Something you've thought about or looked into at all for playing your collection?
I have the Polymega, so it does more than enough that I wanted to do.
Okay. I like running it as close to the original as I can with that, but the enhancements are kind of nice for being able to run them a little faster and work
I
on
like
stuff.
being able to install my games on my Polymega, so I don't have to like. So if I sold my copy of Sculptor's Cut, I can still play it.
They did have an issue, like some of the like the summer carts and things like that for the N64 worked, but some of the other like multi carts and things like that they had some issues with. But they're working with like Crix and some of the other developers to kind of work those out. And just like a lot of the analogs, they're gonna bring out more features as they go along. They've hinted at, they can do updates for compatibility. We'll get more controllers that can work with it, stuff like that. So I think it'll just get better from here. And that's been the case for all their stuff, be it the Super NT, the Mega SG, the Analog Pocket. That's the other 3 that I own of theirs. I never got the Turbo Duo one because I don't have enough games to make it worth it. Like, I think I have like 5 games for the TurboGrafx 16, and that's it. I have nothing for the Turbo CD. Trying to find their pinball games, but those are expensive. So, and Chris, I don't know how into the N64 you were, if this would be something you'd be interested in at all.
I don't really have much of a collection, so it's cool to look at. but it's nice to know that something like that exists.
I still don't get why they were so quiet about it. Like this thing, it does such a good job. They should have been like posting videos and talking about it, and they just said nothing. It was weird. So, I don't know. All right, let's go on to the Xbox Partner Preview. So earlier this week, we had the Xbox Partner Preview with a handful of games shown. We'll kind of go through the list. If there's any particular ones you guys want to talk about, just raise your hand or speak about. First one we had was Armatus, coming in 2026 for Series X, S, PC, PS5, and Switch 2, surprisingly. This is the third-person roguelite shooter from Counterplay Games, fast-paced and hectic. Visually just kind of blends into so many other games recently, at least for me. And I've had this problem with a few other games that I think I could take this and probably convince you it's some other series, or it's an expansion for one of them, or it's just another game outright.
I thought it was Destiny at first look.
Yeah, some of the games are kind of getting too similar. And I know that's probably being generic on my side, but I see so many of these games, they're starting to blend together. It's not a good look. Next up, we had CloverPit, which is actually out now. This one's for Series X and S and PC. This is a roguelike gambling game where you try to win your freedom by gambling with mechanics that kind of remind me of Balatro in a way, just in the way that you can get different little quirks or things to affect your odds and your chances or the machine. And if you fail to get back the money that you owe, you get dropped down a pit. And I guess you have to keep trying it again and again. And there's an ATM in there that you can use to kind of get some money out to keep trying to gamble. And yeah, it's a interesting one. So I guess the thumbs up, Steven, this is one you're going to give a shot.
As somebody who liked Ball X Pit, Vampire Survivors, when it comes to consoles, Mega Bonk, and I love Racoin that has a demo right now on Steam. I like games like this. Oh, and Balatro, so yeah.
You got to give it a shot before your your game stuff ends.
Yeah, I have until January, so I was just like, I will be playing you at some point.
A little bit of time. What about you, Chase? Something you're interested in?
I might give it a try to see what it's like, but we'll see.
And
I know, Chris, you like Balatro and things. Does this interest you?
Possibly, but it looks too funny to lose. So I don't think I'm going to do very well.
He was laughing every time he got dropped, and then he got excited when the DLC said Surgeon Machine.
Oh, God.
Like, does that mean I can sell my body parts? I was like, oh, boy.
Oh, that would be such a dark and terrible mechanic. Oh, it'd be the worst multiplayer, too. It's like, can I sell my friend's kidney?
Yeah, I wonder how it would be playing Surgeon Simulator with Chris. I should try that.
That would be hilarious.
It's co-op now on Switch, so it's like...
Oh, there you go. All right, next up we had Crowsworn. Date still to be announced. This apparently was kickstarted a while back, and we don't know anything about it. But it's coming to Series X and S, PC, Switch, and PS5. It's basically a Metroidvania with a combat style that was kind of reminiscent of Hollow Knight.
Reminiscent?
Yeah. I mean, Hollow Knight was not the first game to have a combat system like that. And I don't, it's not going to be the last.
That aesthetic, though.
Hand-drawn they weren't the first to do that either, though. Like, there's design.
I'm not even talking about hand-drawn. That style is, and how you walk around and how you slash. I was just like, this reminds me of, what was it, Christian? Enchanted Portals, I think it was.
It's not that blatant. Enchanted Portals is a shameless Cuphead ripoff. Crowsworn is more of an homage. It can get away with it.
We'll see.
I want to see a little bit more on it. I wasn't really sold on this one, so I was just kind of, So, everybody else has had their thoughts. What about you, Chase?
I'm interested, because I like Hollow Knight. I haven't got to like Soap Song yet. I haven't finished the first one, but I was like, oh yeah, this looks like maybe could possibly get into it, but we'll see.
Fair enough. After that, we had Dave the Diver, which obviously is out now, but it's finally on Xbox at this point. But they showed off the Jungle DLC, where now you're exploring on land instead of just the water. So, I don't know. If you're a fan of Dave the Diver, great. If not, okay. Can't really say much else. This one I felt really bad for trying to search for it. Echo Generation 2 coming 2026 for Series X and S and PC. It's a voxel-based sequel with a turn-based sci-fi deck-building RPG combat, which is a mouthful. Cosmic horror, robots. It looks really good, but every time I tried to look up this game or any of the information or even their website, Google and everybody else kept just trying to send me to Amazon Echoes, which is not a good sign. Like the whole first page was just Amazon Echo deals, and I'm like, I'm never gonna find this game. Like,
Where do I play the first one?
I think that one was on Xbox as well, but I know you can find it on PC. Like I said, I like the look of certain voxel games, and it kind of intrigued me with how it, some of the sci-fi aspect of it, and I was like,
Yeah,
this is one I might try.
Voxels and samurais are the new things this year. It used to be pixels, and now it's voxels.
Yeah. After that, this is another voxel-based one that I am really intrigued with. It's called Erosion. For 2026, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and PS5. The trailer didn't feel like it explained too much to me until I went into depth looking more about it, and the idea kind of intrigued me. So it's a this one's a twin stick shooter, which is Western themed, which I'm already in because it's twin stick shooters. I love those. But when you die, time passes 10 years. So you can die as many times as you want, but every 10, you skip another 10 years. So people grow up, people die, systems in the town break down. So you have to kind of juggle getting through these worlds without dying and how much damage it does to the world around you while you're trying to save these people. And I thought that was kind of a fun way to play with the mechanics. And it sounds similar to, what was it, Sifu? That every time you would die, you would come back like however much older. But now instead of you aging, everything around you is what's aging, which is kind of a fun twist on that. They show it a very heartbreaking way because I think like he sees his daughter as a kid, and then he comes back and she's an older woman, and then comes back again and she's like an old lady until she like dies in his arms. And I was like, that would suck. Like, so yeah, this one, it didn't catch me at first, but it definitely intrigued me once I looked more into it. And it's one I'll probably take a look at. I don't know. Any of you guys into twin stick shooters?
Yeah, like
Yeah, not this one.
Really? What did you not like about this one? I'm just curious. I mean, I'm no judgment. I'm just wondering.
It's voxel based.
Oh, you just don't. Once again, Jeremy loves something. Steven hates it.
Hey, you like Teardown? Teardown is voxel based.
That's a damn good point. That's a
but
damn
that
good
one
game
is
too.
exactly what I want to do to the voxels.
Oh, we'll just that'll be the outlier that proves the rest of it. We'll just continue with our what Jeremy loves, Steven hates. That's just, I want that on a t-shirt. I love it, Steven hates it. Oh, I'm gonna have to make a shirt now. I have merch.
Yours has to say I love it, and mine has to say I hate it. That's all. And people will have to guess.
That or just Jeremy loves it, Steven hates it, or thus Steven hates it, and just have that like a circle. So yeah. Next we had the Mound, Omen of Cthulhu. This is 2026 for Series X and S, PC, and PS5. It's a co-op horror game where you explore a mysterious coastline while facing unimaginable otherworldly horrors inspired by the nightmare creatures of H.P. Lovecraft's stories, where reality itself can warp around players as they work to survive. And I want to know, will Steven be seeing more birthday balloons that no one else can see?
I don't know if this looks as interesting enough for me.
I don't know how much of it was actual gameplay and what was cinematics. I was intrigued by the fact that like one person saw another player as a monster and like shot her in the face, and then all of a sudden he got his sanity back and realized he just killed somebody. But I don't know if that's story based or if that's some gameplay mechanic where like all of a sudden
You can lie to your friend, team kill. You're like, I thought you were a monster.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the last time we did that and you were seeing like birthday balloons and stuff, and I was like, what are you talking about, Stephen? There's nothing there.
Those toy soldiers.
Oh, that's what it was. The soldiers. Yeah. God, that was such a good game. I don't know. I want to see more about this, but I kept thinking, like, what is this, like a Cthulhu style, like Left 4 Dead, where you're like a group of people trying to survive waves of creatures, but they weren't very clear. Just co-op horror shooter is all I know, so who knows. Next, we have Raj Kaliyuga, which is to be announced, Series X and S, PC, and PS5. Sequel to Raji and Ancient Epic, but now this is a third-person instead of isometric game. Game takes place about 6 years after the original, where you would play as Raj and her younger brother Darsh. So I'm not... Anybody familiar with this series? I've never played the first one.
I was busy washing my hair when it got announced.
I think I considered it. If it's on Game Pass, I'll probably give it a try. It really looks interesting because Hindu lore is not something that's normally seen outside of, like, say, an SMT game. So
yeah,
it could use a little more representation. So
and I think that's where I heard about the first game. Like, somebody was mentioning it. I read an article about it, but it wasn't a game that I picked up. So yeah, we'll have to see how this one goes. Reanimal was the next one, coming February 2026, or you can play a demo now. This one's for Series X and S, PC, PS5, and Switch 2, which is cool.
Key card?
Oh,
I think.
Kind of feels like this would be a digital title for me anyways. Co-op horror games from the makers of Little Nightmares, which is another series I keep wanting to kind of try, but I haven't really played too much. You play as two kids going through a nightmare world trying to rescue their friend. So it just looks creepy as hell. So we'll see. This one made me laugh, and I really want to try and play this one on PC because it just seems like it's going to be a stupid, funny combo game. It's called Roadside Research, coming Q1 2026 for Series X and S and PC. It's 1 to 4 player co-op gas station simulator while players take the role of aliens with paper bags on their faces. I don't know why I deleted bags.
They are sheets of paper.
Well, they're bags. They just put bags in front and tape them there. That's part of the joke. Is that it's supposed to be a bag.
I thought it was just a sheet of paper.
Some of them are bags, but like that was part of their official description, is that paper bags. But they're trying to run a roadside gas station while remaining hidden from government agents, and also upgrading an alien base. So you're kind of building up both of them while trying to do basic generic stuff, and it just seems really dumb. But the one bad thing I found about it, for some reason, that they announced, the Xbox PC, so if you buy this on Series X or S and you get to also play it on PC, you cannot cross-play with people that have it on Steam, which makes no sense to me. Because a lot of people are going to have it on Xbox, be like, cool, I can play it on my computer, and that PC version cannot crossplay. Apparently, I guess Xbox and Steam can, but Xbox PC and Steam cannot. I really hope that gets fixed.
That's because Steam is not an Xbox. There you go.
Xbox will soon be Steam. I don't know. It just seems like a really weird thing to me. So, I don't know. Next, we had Tides of Annihilation. The date to be announced for Series X and S, PC, PS5. We're going to hear that a lot today. Looks like another Souls-like, but this time based around Arthurian legend. I joked with my wife that I could probably convince somebody that this is any other game or DLC. Because without knowing what trailer it was, it looked like a bunch of other games. And I'm sure it's pretty, but you cannot tell me I'm wrong that you could probably convince somebody this is another roguelike game. Or another Souls-like, sorry. So, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of getting burned out on seeing so many of those games where it's just dodge and counter everything. Like, we don't care about the story. It's just this mechanic. We're going to make it difficult. Have fun. And I will still be on that hill. Making a game difficult is not good game design. It is lazy game design. At least for like a lot of Dark Souls or Elden Ring and stuff. Yes, it's difficult, but they've actually worked at it. Like, you can explore and have fun. And I know you guys play these more than I do. Like, Chase, you play Dark Souls and stuff, right? No, I thought you did.
I've played some Souls likes that I have like an interesting twist or something. Like I played the Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which that one was quite decent. Not as was maybe probably a little bit more forgiving than some other Souls likes. But like for instance, yeah, Dark Souls and like Lies of P and stuff like that, I don't play any of them. So
I know my oldest and youngest kids play it a lot. Specifically, Jeremy loves playing like Elden Ring and Dark Souls and the whole trilogy of that, and a lot of the other games. And that's kind of
I'll be giving Duskblood a try.
That seems interesting, just as because it's a little different on a multiplayer aspect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's at least trying something different. It can be in that vein, but trying something. This doesn't feel like it's really showing me anything different. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I could change a couple things in the video and probably make somebody think it's like DLC for another game, and they wouldn't even question it because it looks like other games. So, I don't know. I hope they can do something different, but right now it just feels too damn generic to me. So, Total Chaos was next, which is available now for Series X and S, PC, and PS5. This looked fun, and I know I was just saying it looks like a lot of other stuff, but this kind of does too, but in a fun way. That is just my love of shooters showing, I guess. First-person survival horror from the creator of Turbo Overkill, featuring music by Akira Yamaoka, who worked on Contra Hardcore, Sparkster 1 and 2, the PC and Sega CD versions of Snatcher. Which
Sound effects.
What I read was, what I read, he did the music. He helped do the music as well.
He did not.
Okay, well then they need to change his information on that.
He did the sound effects, and he said it was great because it was challenging to do.
Uh-huh.
But the 1988 Konami sound staff are the only people who did the score.
Gotcha. My bad. Well, that's
But
because I looked up an interview about him, and that's what I was talking.
He did do the radio drama Datcher, which I have.
Mm-hmm.
He did do that because it prominently puts his name on that, and that was great.
Okay. Well, thank you for correcting that. He also worked on the Silent Hill games and movies, which I thought was interesting. He worked on all 3 of the movies. He was also sound director at Grasshopper Manufacturer. He currently is. So, I don't know. That one just looks like fun. Go ahead.
I want this on physical. I wanted it in my hand so bad.
Are we getting a physical?
I watched somebody do a playthrough of it. They're still updating it as we speak as well and adding stuff. But this is the closest thing you guys are going to get to another Condemned game.
Ooh, that's a good selling point.
Because the game is very atmospheric. You actually don't even fight monsters for the first 30 minutes of the game because it's supposed to just be pulling you into the environment and the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And even there's creatures that, because you have a lighter, sometimes your lighter goes out and you have to frantically push the button to restart the lighter. And while that's happening, eyes are appearing everywhere and rushing towards you and hurting you. So if you want a game that'll actually get you scared, I was just like, this game sounds so good. It came from a Doom 2 mod that then switched over to the Unity engine, and they made it look a lot better. And yeah, you can make your own weapons. There's all these different variations of weapons you can make. If you feel it's too much, you can make it so the weapons don't break. But if you like the aspect of that they can break, you can turn that on. I was just like enthralled watching the whole video, and I was just like, I need to play this before I leave. Shit.
Oh man. So you've already downloaded it and give it a shot?
I'm ready to give it a shot if I get a free moment tonight. Because after I saw the guy's video where a YouTuber by the name G-Man Lives was just like, this is what you want to play. This is a good scary game. This is like this seems like a lot of games I remember, and I was just like, this is Condemned. You can parry and guns are an afterthought. There's some of them, but they suck compared to all the weapons you can make. And I was just like, man, yeah, I need this in my veins.
Well, hopefully, if there's a physical copy, I would definitely like to get a hold of that. Like once they get,
I'll be looking because Turbo Overkill already was really good, and it brought back the voice of Duke Nukem doing a different role. He was doing like a British role, so you couldn't even tell it was him. So right now, these guys are hitting on all cylinders with their games.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's definitely one I'll have to keep an eye out for. If you find anything about a physical copy, let me know.
I will.
This next one, I loved the trailer for it because it started off kind of making fun of like all the high fidelity graphics and all this stuff with the characters, just to turn around and find out it's just another 2D Vampire Survivors game, which is not a bad thing. That's a good thing. called Vampire Crawlers: The Turbo Wildcard. This is coming in 2026 for Series X and S, PC, Xbox One, PS5, and Switch One. So it's a new take on Vampire Survivors roguelike gameplay with a pseudo 3D world and then deck building card-based combat. It features the main characters from the first title, also that trademark pixel style, and I know a lot of that description sounds kind of weird. It looks like it would actually be pretty fun, and it feels more like Vampire Survivors than I initially thought it would until I was watching videos about it. Where you're given the different cards, which are like the items you have, and you can play them in the order of basically like spawning them. So as waves of enemies come in, like you could use the Bible and it spins around and like takes out the first row, or you could throw the holy water and have it damage certain areas and stay there for a little bit. And then you could use different items at different times to boost or enhance those. So there's a little bit of strategy for it. But they also have, if you just want to go ballistic, you can just hit the play all, and it will literally just throw all of your cards at once and just start playing things in this absolute insanity. And just like Vampire Survivors, you're trying to build up to get these just ridiculous combos going where you can take wave upon wave of enemies. And I'm kind of down to give it a shot. It's like, I'm not big into card games, but this looks like it could be fun, because I initially wrote off Vampire Survivors. When I first saw it, I thought it was such a stupid idea, and now I can't quit playing it. I have bought it on multiple systems. I am just going to shut up about that and let others talk about it. But is this something you guys are interested in playing?
I have to give it a try, but it looked so busy. It was giving me PTSD from Anton Blast, where I was just like, I'm not at the age where I can't handle that much going on.
Well, they said you can take your time on everything. You can play as slow or as fast as you want to. So there's no time limit on it.
That's why I need to try it first, because the style was, I was like, am I going to be okay with this?
Because I think a lot of the flashiness and craziness is like when you play big combos and you just have it kind of going, and it's just like the excitement of doing all the craziness. But yeah, that'll be a little different. Chase, what about you?
Yeah, I'll probably have to give it a try.
Are you big into Vampire Survivors at all?
I've never tried it, so like I need to probably try some of this stuff.
I might just have to buy you another game on Steam out of the blue. Like,
He's got Game Pass. He can still play it.
Yeah.
Like, if you just have basic Xbox Live or whatever the core, whatever they call it, you get Vampire Survivors now. Even on PC, I found out. Because I was trying to do that. Chris, this seemed like something up your alley?
Well, first off, Anton Blast isn't bad when you get used to it. It just takes a little time. And I hope I don't, because this is one of those games that if I do start playing it, then I won't stop playing it until I lose consciousness. The last two times that happened were Metaphor and Ball X Pit.
Okay, fair enough. So we're going to be getting this for Chris later, for Christmas or something.
I don't play things out of spite. So if you do buy it, I'll never play it.
The temptation will be there, and that's enough to eventually wear you down.
Chris just like walk out of his bedroom and be like, "What time is it?
What year is it?"
That's what Metaphor did.
Oh, I'm not dead yet? Let me go back in for another playthrough.
That is exactly what Metaphor did.
He played that game until I was at work the next day.
Holy shit.
Well, I almost finished, and, I'm at the last stage. I just needed to grind until I was a higher level than the boss, and by the time I finished, it just happened to be sunrise. No big deal.
Was it sunrise the next day or sunrise like a few days later? Oh, man. That's great. I don't know if I could do many of those days anymore. All right. And the last game they showed off was one called Zoopunk, which is to be announced for Xbox Series X and S, PC, and PS5. This is a new game in the universe started in Forged in Shadow Torch, which feels seems to have you exploring and fighting as you explore the world, but 10 years prior to the first game. So it kind of felt Darksiders to me, if that makes any sense, like for the way the game looked and the way the combat was and things for creature design. And then this game covers the turbulent origins of Torch City, as they put it. So while the original was a 2.5D Metroidvania, this one is a third-person based combat with combos, dodges, leveling up, things like that. you play as the previous game's protagonist, Rayton the rabbit. So before we get into some of the other stuff, like, does the game seem interesting to you guys? Like, I thought the animal design was kind of cool.
I
So
enjoyed Fist, so I'm all down for it.
yeah, I was debating, like, there's a copy of Fist up at my local GameStop, like the steel case release of it's like $20, and I was debating on if I'm going to pick it up or not because I never got to play it because it never really got on my radar, and that's why I was asking you about it earlier, going like, is this worth getting? Like, so, Chase, you ever played this series?
Never played Fist, so maybe
Yeah,
I
me
need to
neither.
actually give Fist a try.
Yeah, because it's more of a Metroidvania from what I've heard of that one. I
Yeah,
don't
we should all get into fisting. So see how it is.
I was waiting for
See
that.
if we then want to move on to Zoopunk.
God damn it.
What? What happened?
Nothing. Chris, what about you?
Pretty undecided as of yet because the setting looked interesting, but I don't know if the gameplay is my deal.
Hmm.
So I might just watch it on a replay.
Okay. So the company had a little bit of controversy about this one, which I looked into, and I think, Steven, you looked into a little bit as well. But the company is facing accusations, or some accusations, about using generative AI for development of the game. They admitted that while there is AI generative functions of the game, the title itself was developed by people. TI Games stated, quote, "All our works are original creations and the culmination of our artists' hard work and dedication. AI will only be used to assist players in producing user-generated content at a lower cost, such as vehicle skins, clothing color schemes, and similar items. In other words, AI serves as a tool to support players in secondary creations and in maintaining the mod community." So,
I'm all for that. I'm if it's patterns and skins and it's not something that changes what they actually look
right.
like having to build a helmet or wings or something like that, then yeah, that's it's as long as they put that in their description when they release it on Steam and everything else, then I don't see a problem. You can't keep always defaulting to horrible when you see generative AI because it can be just used for something that is just there to help them save time and money as a smaller company. Like, you know,
Because
I don't think there's a I think somebody would go crazy if they were told we need you to make patterns for 25 jackets, 40 bikes, and people are like, "Can I just do something else on the game?" And then they're like, "Yeah, sure, we'll have you work on this, and we'll do AI do that." Perfect.
it seems like the user-generated stuff, it's people kind of just making it from whatever. It doesn't, like you said, you're not really using it for like character creation or
Yeah, it's
environmental
not pulling
art
the
and
Call of
things.
Duty. It's not stealing artwork.
Yeah.
At least from what we hear now, it's just patterns, skins, and color schemes. So you can't patent that, so to speak. But once it gets into graphics, yes, Call of
Which
Duty.
I'm kind of
you
wondering,
can
like,
patent.
at what someone's alarm's going off. At what point, these tools are considered AI, but how is it different from some of the previous games we've seen where you can kind of make patterns or just, it's kind of pre-generated, but you can mix and match things. It seems like a variation on that instead of other stuff.
Jeremy's AI alarm's going off.
I have no idea. So, well, never mind. The alarm stopped as soon as I paused the show. Anyways, continuing on. So the game does look interesting. I want to see more about how they're working with this stuff. I'm probably just going to break down if that game is still there tomorrow and just pick it up because I'm always curious about a Metroidvania. Those are just fun to me. So who knows? I guess I was wanting a second opinion. That's why I was asking you, like, what did you think of it? Like, because I wasn't really aware. So I don't know. We'll have to see. All right. So last little bit, like, was there anything of interest? Like, how did you guys feel about this showcase? I guess we can give it a letter grade as we usually do. Steven, we'll start with you.
I give it a C for chaos. It's the only game I want to play.
Okay. Chase, what about you?
I'll give it a C as well. It's pretty dead average for me. Like, there's a couple games that I looked at, like, oh yeah, I could probably play that, and there's other games that I was Like, I could care less. So, I think the only like announcement like recently that I'm actually interested in is that THQ Nordic, can't remember what it was called, Forsaken or something. The basically the Skyrim kind of almost looks like THQ Nordic's version of Skyrim.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Actually looks pretty good. So
too many announcements. Things get announced and we just forget about them until it comes out again.
Right?
Yeah, when's that game from Contraband coming out? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Damn. Chris, what about you?
I guess I'd give it a C. Nothing there was really hitting me as anything I would go out of my way to play.
And I would agree. We're all of us in the same thing. I'm just giving it a C because it's just common. Like nothing spectacular. A couple fun games that I do want to try, but nothing I'm like, oh man, I wish I had Game Pass.
Xbox is saved.
Yeah, nothing like that. Which, I mean, this was third party. You know, people were like, why isn't Fable there? And it's like, that's first party. Until it's not. But whatever.
When Nintendo does a third party one, they break the internet.
No shit.
They're like, Capcom Fighting Collection. And everybody's like, what the fuck? So,
it's still such a fun one. I don't know. Zoopunk I'm interested in a little bit. Vampire Crawlers I thought was funny and I want to play it. Total Chaos, Steven, you sold me on that more than anything. But yeah, a lot of the other stuff, I think I was pretty clear. It just looks the same as a bunch of other stuff I've seen, and it's just blending together at this point. So I don't know. Because it was supposed to be like a big announcement as well for part of this. Like, oh, the Xbox full screen experience, but we already talked about how that's going so far. Kind of, I was hoping to be able to talk about how great it was, because that's the other thing. Every one of these titles are supposed to be made where they can be played on PC on handhelds. Like they're certified for that as well. So it's like, okay, if I have to get it digitally, at least then I'd have it on Xbox and PC and be designed for a handheld. That could be a benefit, but I can't get the damn handheld to work because of that shit. So come on, Microsoft, get your stuff together. Come on. All right, let's move on to our next little bit here. So Sony has filed a DMCA notice against a fan project that was working to get Concord playable again. It's been a bit of a roller coaster here. We posted this on the Discord of a small group trying to get Concord running and managed to get like small matches with a few of their friends on private servers. And immediately Sony ended up doing DMCA takedowns on every article, every video, everything about it from the company itself. Mind you, this is after Concord's already initial terrible launch, just over late last year, which when it came out, eventually got pulled from stores, removed from people's accounts on PS5, which thankfully they were at least refunded. But then PC users that didn't get a refund did not lose the game. They still have it, but they can't do anything with it. So it's these people that are going back trying to get something of the game working that they can play it. You know, they're not trying to add content. They just want to get it going. You know, Firewalk Studios, the people that made it, got shut down shortly thereafter. So there's not going to be any future development from them. So a group of volunteer developers are working on private servers, managed to show the game being played somewhat kind of a rough start. So it wasn't even a full like, hey, look, we're doing things. But just kind of went from there. Sony's DMCA notices have pulled any public videos and talk about it. The developers were kind of worried, saying, quote, due to worrying legal action, we've decided to pause invites for the time being, which Sony has not gone directly after the development team, but the message was received, and they're all very worried that if they try and continue to do anything with the games that they paid for, they're going to get in trouble. Which is also kind of being brought up in the EU, because this Concord specifically was brought up as an example for laws they're trying to pass, where publishers can't just make a game, make an online requirement, run it for however long or however short, and then just drop it with little to no notice or anything to the people and back out of it. So now they're like, cool, now they're trying to legally threaten people that are trying to get their own private servers going with the game. And you have the argument of, well, these people bought the title. They're actively trying to stop anyone from, you know, messing with copyrighted material. They're all ones that actually bought it from playing that title they paid for. So it's it's kind of a weird legal gray area, but Sony seems to be coming down on it. What I thought was really funny is the comments for a lot of these, how quickly everyone was trying to say it's Nintendo's fault. And I'm like, they are not even involved, guys. Other than accidentally creating Sony, that doesn't mean Nintendo's in this lawsuit. Calm down. So, I don't know. Steven, I know you still have your copy of Concord, but that's on PS5, so you won't be able to do anything with that. So I guess no Concord for you.
Dang.
Yeah. I don't know. How do you feel about this? Should these people be allowed, if they're making their own private server, to play this game? Because Sony's not making any money off of it. They are showing no proof that they want to do anything with the IP. They shut down the developers of it. Like, what is the harm in them doing this?
I think it's too soon.
They bought the game. They have it. They didn't get their money back.
I feel it should be like a non-compete clause or something saying like, wait until it's out of the vernacular or people, at least a year has passed, and then do it or something like that. But
technically a year has passed.
I understand where he's coming from, though. I think it's too fresh of a wound, and the fact that people have brought Concord back into the media limelight is exactly what Sony doesn't want, which is why they're trying to push it back.
The secret level episode's still up. Sony, go after that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if they don't want it showing, they still allowed that, and that was months after it got shut down. It was surprising. That actually what made me want to play it. I was like, I want to explore this world. It seems fun.
Sony would have had to have signed off on the secret level episode and allowed that to happen. Whereas this is people that are using Sony's IP.
Yeah.
The problem is that unfortunately, whether we like it or not, because you're right. To you, and to me, probably it's no harm, no foul. Everybody's heard that phrase. But obviously, like, it's Sony's prerogative to do whatever they want with their IP. So you can't necessarily argue with that either.
I wonder how it kind of falls, because I've seen other games that, it's not a new thing for groups to make private servers on dead games. We see this with a lot of old MMOs where people will find ways to reverse engineer a server that they can play on. Phantasy Star Online, there's a lot of them that still do that. So that's been long dead for the Sega Dreamcast, the GameCube, and PC. But people have made those servers and still play them today. And I know that's far, time-wise, but this used to be pretty common where people would make their own servers for a lot of these games.
I think it doesn't matter at that point because the company's already made all the money they planned on. And those games were...
I don't think Sega cared as much as like Activision Blizzard did when WoW Vanilla was taking over, and they're like, we're going to shut you guys down because we're going to make our own, and we're going to make it our way.
Make money off it.
And make
with
money
hookers
off of
and blackjack.
Yep.
So, and they hired some of the people who worked on it, so it wasn't all bad.
That kind of falls in the whole thing, like when Nintendo had to take down the what was it, the Metroid 2 remake, because they were making their own remake already. But yeah, it's kind of back and forth.
I think it was called.
Yeah, I still have that. It's really good, but it's a nice separate thing. But like Sony, they've shown they're not doing anything with Concord anymore, and they're not losing the IP to it. It's just people running their game and finding a way to connect other people, and that's what kind of makes me wonder. Like, I wonder if this is going to take more steps, specifically in the EU, where this has become a legal standard they're trying to work towards. It uses an argument going, hey, you drop support for your game, these people are making their own server just to have that game connect to each other to continue playing what they paid for. Because it's a short term from the wound of Sony, but it's also a short term from the wound of them buying a game and then losing access to it. That's kind of a back and forth.
I think in the EU, the EU tends to have be like the kind of the leaders right now in like a lot of like pro consumer like litigations at the moment anyway, because like they're the ones that came down on Apple for having their own proprietary chargers, and that's kind of what forced them to use the USB-C, things like that. I think
ironically it's why Tesla has the standard charger that my car has.
Yeah, and then like what is it? I think this was in the UK, but there might be a separate one because the UK is technically not a part of the EU anymore. But I think there might have been a separate one in the EU as well. But over in the UK, there was that whole stop killing games like movement. And
Yeah, I
I
think
think
that's what I was referencing. Yeah.
that's made its way over to the EU, I think, as well, where people, because I think there's like a lawsuit going on right now against Ubisoft about MotorStorm or the Crew. That's their
Yeah.
driving game.
Motorfest, yep.
Yeah, Crew Motorfest, because the Ubisoft's killed the servers, and people are like, well, we still want to play it, like so. And there's like kind of a bit of a huge back and forth with that, because I think Ubisoft came out and said like, well, they don't actually really own the game, and on top of that, the game's been out for so long, like, they've gotten their worth out of it, type thing. But yeah, so I don't know. It's definitely a watch this space.
Yeah,
with the
I think some
EU.
of it is just
I think the EU is one of the first ones to come down on loot boxes too, back in the day, about gambling and stuff.
Yeah.
I think
and
they
I
were
think
one of.
you're when you do these things where you're bringing back something that's dead back to life. I think until you have like something that's fully playable, not just a proof of concept, it kind of should be kept on the down low, because a lot of these things that get shut down is because it gets too much
Yeah.
PR and publicity, and you don't want publicity with things like these because it's just like a fan project. I recently watched a whole video, which I was like, oh boy, I wonder if Nintendo's going to hear about this. But a group of developers revived the 3DS eShop. It runs perfectly on a jailbroken 3DS. You could even add virtual funds to buy all the games on the store to play. So, but once Nintendo hears about that, they'll shut those guys down. But
well, the funny thing is, like, we talk about the weird choices Microsoft's made with Xbox, but there's one that's come out for the original Xbox. It's a Xbox Live replacement called Insignia. They've been working on building that up, sending out invites. I've been meaning to actually take my modded Xbox and hook it up with that, because you can do that now. And then they've got ways to hook up unmodded systems as well. And Microsoft's allowed it. They have not stopped them whatsoever. They've added support for Halo 2, for Mech Assault, Mech Assault 2, a couple of the sports games, things like that, where they're like, hey, you own these games, you bought them. Here, now you can actually play them online, and you get that functionality back.
And I think this one is more of like it can't hurt us, it can only help us to get people into enjoying Xbox again. While this one just is embarrassing Sony, because they're saying, don't bring back something we killed because it failed. How dare you?
I mean, the flip side of that,
we killed it for a reason. It stays dead.
But if this worked and people were enjoying it, they could use that as a door to bring Concord back. Like, they'd have to get different developers, but
it's the same reason why I can't get Doritos 3D or Pepsi Blue right now.
And anyway, it's a little more complicated than that, because Concord isn't just a game. At this point, it's a symbol of failure.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think too, like a lot of these companies, like especially Japanese companies. I mean, I know Sony's quite big, big with America and stuff too, but like a lot of these companies, they base a lot of stuff on pride. Like, pride is a massive factor.
So, Chris, you're telling me Astrobot 2, there's a chance we'll get Concord in there as little robots running around? Because that seems to be where all their IP goes to die.
Yep. Yeah, that's their that's their IP graveyard, man.
That is the happiest graveyard I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's basically the little farm where the puppies go.
Yeah, we didn't kill your IP. We just sent it to the farm to live as robots.
Yep.
God, I think your description's even worse than mine, Chris. That's great.
Thank you.
This is why we miss you on the show, man. That's just
all dogs go to Concord.
Yeah, all IP go to Astrobot.
All your baits belong to Concord.
Oh man, yes. Like I said, we can go back and forth in this whole thing, and I get Sony's side of it. I get the other people's side of it. The whole legal dance, like Chase, you hit it on the head that this is going to be a wait and see of what happens, because Sony did not go after the developers themselves, because I don't know how much of a legal leg they have to stand on that. They're not infringing on their IP. They are not making copies of Concord. They're not trying to sell it. They're just enabling a network connection.
Mm.
And at that point, what is your legal standing on that? Because that's a little different on how it is. They're not running proprietary stuff. They're,
I guess Sony doesn't want all the emails saying, when can I buy Concord?
Yeah.
they would just ignore those anyways.
And they're like, we don't have any. Stop calling. First Battletoads, now Concord.
Oh, God. We eventually got Battletoads back, and we kind of wish we didn't.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we kind of wish we didn't.
That was a monkey's paw and a half.
Thank
Everybody
you.
was like, we won. And then we were like, no, we didn't.
Oh,
But
God. No,
cost?
please send this
Quality.
back to the kitchen.
Yeah. They cooked all right.
First time I beat that, and we felt disgusting, dirty, and never wanted to do it again.
Like, look, we got Battletoads and Killer Instinct, and it worked. You should have stopped there. Like, that was a fun throw in. I take it back. What was the game, Steven, you and I were playing a while back? Grounded, where they had one of the Battletoads as a toy stuck in the ground that we found. That was kind of fun. And that's
they were even great, and they're the best part of the Xbox version of Shovel Knight as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were in that. So yeah, so like there's ways they could bring it back. Who knows? Like maybe Concord will be Sony's joke decades from now when people just want something to come back. All right, so let's jump over to the speed run. So another death, sadly, to talk about. Former Sega composer and sound programmer Hiroshi Kubota composed half of the tracks of the Caesarion, helped get Sonic the Hedgehog music in the Mega Drive sample music playback system sound engine, and did arrangements for the music in Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, has passed away after, quote, battling illness for a long time, as one of his coworkers said. So we're losing more and more of gaming's past here as time goes on, sadly, because time stops for nobody. Next up, Game Informer is coming back to newsstands at places like Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Gelson's, and even GameStop. No pro account required, though. You can just buy it. Let's see here. GameStop will be holding a Trade Anything Day on December 6th, and we just know this is going to turn into a horribly wrong situation. It'd be nothing but a pain for workers that are already dealing with enough crap with holiday shoppers. Did you guys read about this one?
First time I've heard of it.
No.
So does this mean I can go in, trade in my copy of Overwatch 1, Mag, EverQuest Online Adventures, and Concord and get $5?
Well, I think you get one item for $5, and that's what you get to bring. And at first, the way they described it was kind of messed up, but now they put a bunch of restrictions on it. Because I was worried that there's going to be those people that want to bring something ridiculous or offensive or whatever just for some viral event, trying to do videos and things like that, which people don't want to deal with this shit, Animals, be alive or dead, are not allowed, but taxidermy is allowed, just so you know. So if you have a taxidermied squirrel, you can trade it in for $5.
This is just a way to get on the news.
Oh, God.
This isn't going to go wrong at all.
Yeah. They have a whole list of things, like you can't bring certain computer equipment, CRT TVs, liquids, batteries, lithium ion stuff, food.
Someone's going to trade in like the Epstein files. And
yeah. Someone will probably just print out something.
They print them off the internet. And
they did say printers aren't allowed. Their list does state that, quote, GameStop employees have the discretion to reject any item, which is good, but they still have to deal with this, and I feel really bad.
So they forgot to put the parentheses, trade in almost anything.
I think they did include that in some of their marketing, but yeah, it's.
But I'm happy I can at least get $5 for the digital PS5 system cover that nobody wants to take that I keep trying to trade in. So now I'm gonna be like, you want this, don't you?
Yeah, I wonder if someone's gonna bring like just empty stuff they didn't have, like just not complete. Just take it. So the purpose is supposed to be that the stores take these items in, and at the end of the day, they're supposed to take them to a local charity to turn them in, which seems like really cruel to the charities because God knows what they're going to be getting. But the store managers were not warned about this ahead of time. There's not any prearranged stuff, so they're having to find it. They're having to deal with this. And mind you, their back rooms are full of stuff from Christmas stocking for the store, Black Friday, things like that.
It's perfect time of year to do this.
Right. There's going to be no room to hold anything.
You don't want January. That's crazy.
Yeah. God help you for the small stores that are in malls. which I know still exists in some places, because your stock room is probably about the same size as my recording space. Like, it's terrible. Yeah, this is just, come on, GameStop. This is so cruel. People are going to quit over this. Like, I can see it right now.
You could have traded in that fry you ate underneath your bed.
No food. Well, I don't know. It depends how old it is. It may not be food anymore. It could
That's
be
really
rotten.
old. That was like an organism now. It's living.
Science
Can't trade
project.
that either.
Yeah, it's taxidermy of an unknown creature.
And it was delicious.
Amazing. Next up, I ended up moving this one over to the speed run from the main thing, but the Xbox 360s we talked about earlier is celebrating the 20-year anniversary as of today, November 22nd. And I was going to ask you guys, did any of you guys get this at launch? Because I did get mine. Actually, a friend of mine, Jeremiah,
I got
bought
mine
it
at
for me.
launch. I watched it, Red Ring of Death, and then I got 3 other versions of it throughout the years.
Damn. I had to deal with Red Ring a couple of times before they finally fixed that with the Elite model. Chase, what about you? How early did you get a 360? Because I know you had one.
Yeah, I had one, but I didn't get one at launch. Because I had a PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation 2, eventually got a PlayStation 3, got a launch PlayStation 3 for Christmas. Then I got a job, was moved to my dorm in uni. And after a while, as a poor college student, you rub your pennies together and hope they breed to make some money. And then just finally I saved up enough pennies in a jar and was able to get, I got a refurbished 360 from GameStop. And
Oh, no.
yeah, it worked.
Red Ring?
Nope.
Okay, good.
You
probably got an Elite model.
Yeah, this was quite a bit later. So,
Mm.
the Xbox 360 been out for a while. And I was able to save up enough money to actually finally get one because I wanted to play games like Gears of War and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, things like that. So, yeah, that's what I ended up doing.
I've got some of the later model 360s I still play today that work really well, but I do have one in the box older 360 that I'm like terrified how that's going to run if I turn it on. I need to double check exactly which model it was, because it was, I'm trying to remember when Modern Warfare 3 came out, because it's a boxed edition of that, and I'm trying to remember if that was an Elite, because it's shaped like the original, but they had models with HDMI ports that came out right at the tail end of that before they did the redesign. So I'm wondering if that was one of them. I need to just eventually open it. I have a later model 360 that I used to play now. I've got the Star Wars one that I just kind of keep around, so I'm hesitant to crank up the old one. Chris, what about you? How were you with the 360?
I only bought it for one game, and I almost didn't buy it. It all depended on when the game came out.
Oh,
It just so happened that Skullgirls came out for 360 before it came out for PS3, and that made all the difference.
really? That still solidifies my original theory that, because I've had somebody argue me before that people don't buy systems for one game. And my argument is the exact opposite, that everybody eventually buys a system for one game, because there's always one title that puts you over the edge. Like, okay, I need to get this. So I guess
I need 5.
Say what?
I need 5.
Even then, you would still have to hit that 5th one. That would still be the one that puts you over. Semantics at that point. So, yeah, Red Ring of Death will be an interesting one. I kind of wish, I think this year Hallmark had the 360 coming out that I need to go pick up that plays Halo music. I kind of wish it had an alternate light option for Red Ring. That would just be such a funny in-joke if it did that. Because I think mine Red Ringed like the day one of the Halos came out, and I was so pissed. I took a picture because it's sitting there on the front of the TV, and the game's sitting there. I'm ready to play it, and it's just Red Ringed, and I'm just like, mother. So many.
Wrap it in a towel.
Yeah, I'd probably just take it apart and reflow the solder at this point. Do it proper.
Then you can't trade it in, because then you're, as an employee, you're told to look for that little sticker that it's been ripped off.
Oh, I'm not trading shit in at this point. I'm going to fix it if I have to.
I'll help you solder it.
Say what?
I'll help you solder it.
No.
Dang it.
You're not
No one
allowed.
else.
You come to my house, you're not allowed near any of my soldering equipment for our safety and your safety. I'm surprised you
I
don't have
wanted to
lead
solder
poisoning
where I
from
help people
sniffing it.
solder, but nobody's taking me up for any jobs.
Are you one of those people just like, oh, I love the smell of solder, and you're just like sucking up lead fumes?
I like the
Just
way it
go-
melts, so I just kind of use more of it. That's all.
He
Oh.
is the
He is
the
that guy.
fume vent. He is the fume vent.
Oh God, that's terrible.
Definitely does smell good, by the way. But anyway.
You're not supposed to. You're killing me here. You're
That
slowly
explains
killing
a lot of your
yourself.
opinions.
Was that aimed at me or him?
Steve.
Okay.
That's why he hates everything that Jeremy likes. We've come full circle. We figured it out.
Yeah,
We've
Steven's
had the
leaded. I'm
we've had the
unleaded.
Dr. Phil like aha moment.
Yeah, Steven is leaded. I'm unleaded. Jesus. All right. So after reporting about a sudden change in Ubisoft's stock and numbers reporting that we talked about last week, hinting at some rough outcomes, turns out it was just new auditors had determined that revenues from a meaningful partnership from the previous company's fiscal year needed to be recognized differently this year. So yeah, that's a very weird outcome we did not expect. I was getting ready for like a corporate merger or takeover or something. Go ahead, Steven.
It's coming.
And it was also the first time ever that I heard a company say, like, our game overperformed. And they said it in such a almost negative connotation. I was like, didn't you want that? And they're like, Assassin's Creed Shadows overperformed. Okay.
I can hear Sony. Concord sold too much. We want them all gone. Oh, that's terrible. So they actually said that a game performed too much. That's
Yeah, no, look it up. They actually said
Wow.
Assassin's Creed Shadows overperformed. And I was just like,
and now it's coming to
it's
Switch
not a
too. So get
success?
ready.
Did he say it like a really deadpan way or something like?
well, the way it was reported, it made it sound bad. And then they said they have plans to, like, to keep talking about the title. And I was just like, you could have phrased that better, like, instead of maybe performed extremely well, not overperformed. Overperformed means you did too much.
He probably is aware that he's got to keep hearing from those assholes that didn't want to play the game because like it's got a woman or it's not a white guy and like we don't want to play this crap. And it's like it was good,
And they
man.
just
It was
completely
actually
glossed over
fun.
after saying it was successful. They didn't even like seem to mention like you have a version coming out for Switch 2 in 2 weeks. Like you could have just said that and left it at that. But no.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they're planning on canceling that one. And like crap, now we can't.
They did make sure to appease their owners, though. They talked about the big Mirage update that adds Saudi Arabia into it. So.
Who knows?
Ubisoft's dead to me anyway right now. So.
Ouch.
What'd
Saudi
they do?
soft?
Yeah.
Oh, is that why?
No.
What'd they do?
Splinter Cell.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
We couldn't make it a live service game, so we canceled it.
With our luck, Ubisoft's going to get sold to Saudi Arabia, and then they're going to announce a Splinter Cell, and we're going to be like, we don't know how we feel about this. Like, I'm so confused right now. Our last bit for the speed run, any weird anti-consumer move by Microsoft and Xbox, the game company has decided to make their Xbox game publishing guide public, NDA free, and accessible for everyone, kind of like how Steam has theirs. So this can help developers and publishers, specifically small ones, to see what they are required to do to get their games playing on Xbox hardware and up on their storefronts without prior approval or legal clearance required, which is weird that they've had to do that for decades now.
So we're finally going to get all those hentai puzzle games on Xbox and not just on Switch?
Probably. Like this was going to benefit a lot of like the ID at Xbox developers that are like small individual or small groups, that they would have to get that legal clearance or prior approval to be able to even find out requirements of how to get their game on there, which, they don't have much room to do extra stuff. So if they're developing something and they find out, oh, we did it wrong for this, we have to go back and change it. Like that's a lot of extra costs they have to eat. Now they can just like, oh, cool. We actually get to just see the damn requirements. Like we don't have to guess at the rules to get in. So yeah, we'll probably see more shitty games too, Steven, but hopefully a few good ones will sneak in their way in there.
They're the only ones left because Sony has a bunch of crap on theirs. Nintendo has so much crap, it's hard to find the good stuff, because when there's as soon as Megabonk was a success, if you go to the eShop, there's a asset flip called Gigabonk, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
And
they're
that's the whole thing. Like, even Unpacking went against. It's just like
mhm.
every time there's a fun game, all the asset flips come out, and I was just like, that has to stop.
And you can really notice a lot of those when they start tagging the titles of other popular games in there, trying to get people to mess with the search responses to go to it. It's like, you can't just, like, what the hell? All right, let's jump over to the big question for this week. Nope, I clicked on the wrong window. No, it just doesn't work. What the hell? Okay. I guess I deleted something. Somehow my buttons stopped working. Yeah, wrong lever, Kronk. I was pressing the damn button. Now it works. What is wrong with you, Stream Deck? Anyways, so it's kind of ironic. I'm using modern technology. We're about to talk about those. What are you thankful for in modern video games now that we are not that were not prevalent in video games as you grew up, like audio saves, skippable cutscenes, etc. Steven, you originally came up with this question, so I will let you start us off.
As a player of RPGs in the past, especially with boss fights, skippable cutscenes. That's the fact that there was even games on PS2, looking at you, Xenosaga, that did not have skippable cutscenes. So if you lost a big boss fight, you had to watch it all again. I'm glad that they've
I hate those.
realized they make you hold down the button so there's no accidents. So that's also good in most games.
Yeah.
And then for especially the retro games, I am thankful for Rewind, because a lot of times it can be not your fault, but a fault of the hitbox of, those old games where if there's a platform right there and you hit it right there, it's your guy just clips through it. So thank you, Rewind, for it's not my fault. Save states for people who just want to finally finish a game.
Or those games that didn't have any way to save.
Yeah, those were big ones for me, because it was just like, now I can kind of do something with my old games that before I needed a Game Genie. Now I don't need one to like try again. I can just rewind. I don't get punished. Maybe Dark Souls would be better with a rewind.
You're not wrong, actually. I would think I would enjoy it more. Chase, what about you?
So I didn't really. Was trying to think about like an answer for this one.
Oh, Chase didn't answer the big question, huh?
Yeah, imagine that. If this was features or things that I didn't like, I'd have probably a laundry list, but that's beside the point. So I guess for me, I guess this is probably a little bit of a cop-out, but I'll go with it anyway. I'm going to actually say just kind of online multiplayer, online co-op in general, because I grew up in a time where you didn't have that. And so being able to like, especially now that I live here in New Zealand, being able to stay connected with my friends in a way is actually like a really nice thing to have. So
I mean, hell, power of the internet. You're recording a show with us from another part of the world.
Exactly, right?
Normally we play games together right afterwards, so yeah.
Yeah, so in a way, like I do kind of have to say that I am a bit thankful for that. It's maybe brought on a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. The industry as a whole, but honestly, like
they said you wanted to be on the show, so I just let you on. My bad. I mean, I'm sorry.
Wow, I was still talking about the online and gaming, but yeah,
Oh, Judy, we're looking at you.
Yeah. But no, that is actually something that I am probably a bit thankful for, is just being able to stay connected with people.
Nice. All right, Chris, what about you?
For me, it's internal memory. I could not stand having to buy a memory card for every single new console that I had bought. I had the money for a PS1, but not for a memory card, so every time I wanted to play Tekken 2 with my friends, I would have to beat the game with every single character on the roster, so I would get their counterpart, and I would have to do that every weekend until I bought a memory card. So thank you, Xbox.
So I guess you would have preferred a Sega Saturn style setup where it was battery backup, but it was in it.
Exactly.
Well, there's also that. I didn't like the the cartridges that had the batteries in it, you were just like, oh. Nowadays, you're just like, am I getting a game that still has saves on it or not?
It's not too difficult to fix
Now
those,
you're just
but
like, my saves are in the cloud. I'm good.
no kidding. So for me, one of the biggest things I've enjoyed from growing up to now is the ability to just put games to sleep. And I mean that like with the DS, the 3DS, the Switch, Switch 2, my Steam Deck. That's one of the favorite things as well, because it follows that, where I can just, when things come up, like if the kids need something, or if I've got to go do something, or if I'm waiting and I have to just stop all of a sudden, I can just put the system to sleep and go. And, I remember the arguments when I was a kid. I'd be playing a level and it's like, oh, it's time for bed. Like, oh, I'm almost I got to get to this point to get either save the game or get the password so I can continue on. And they're like, no, turn it off. Now my kids growing up would try and use that. Like, I'm almost done with the level. It's like, you're on a DS, just shut the lid. Like, it'll be fine. You can go back to it later. I know how this works. I think one of the other things I'm grateful for at this point is modern emulation, because that is something that has assisted both with being able to play a lot of these old games that you could not for the longest time, that are just not available. But it's also led to newer systems like the Analogue 3D, like the Mr. Project, things like that, which has really helped with preservation of things beyond just the games themselves, but the hardware for arcade systems and things like that. It's led to really good compilations and different collections that we have on different systems, even officially released ones like the Atari 50, that has given us more of a museum look into the history of these things that we didn't have before. Because I remember the days back when we had to scrounge, for news articles in gaming magazines, hoping they got an interview to explain how something worked, or what, how these people did something, or behind the scene things. And you never really got the whole, mention of it. And there's only like one or two good gaming museums in the country or most of the world. It's really hard to get to those. So we've got a more modern take on being able to do that and just try something out with so much less of a barrier of entry. A kid can get a Raspberry Pi for $30, program it right, and there's a whole couple of good generations of games we grew up on that they would have a chance to play and experience that they may not be able to do. And I think that's a good thing for modern technology and for modern gamers to be able to access. Because just like with books and movies, you can appreciate the new stuff, but it's nice, the easier accessibility of the older stuff helps you appreciate some of the newer stuff and understand it more. So, yeah, that's my thought on it.
And fun fact, the
Yeah.
Rogue Xbox Ally X Rogue X Ally Rogue does not do sleep very well.
Really? Fuck.
Windows hates going to sleep.
God, I was really hoping that would fix that on my Legion Go.
So every review I've read of it, all the teardowns have just been like, it hates going to sleep. Because when you try to wake it up, most games will run at like 15 frames, or they'll just crash because they'll be like, I'm not meant to be woken up from a Windows system.
Oh, they really got to fix that. Which they can do once they actually let me start it on my Legion Go to begin with.
So. Ask, how do I fix sleep? And they'll be like, go to bed early. And you're like, no, that's not what I meant.
If you should die before you wake.
Oh my God. All right. Well, that has been a fun episode. Like I said, this was episode 197, so we've got some plans we're working on for episode 200. Stevenson made some suggestions on that. We're probably not going to be talking about any news and just kind of talking amongst ourselves about the history of the show, asking each other questions, which should be fun. And if you can think of questions you want to ask us, let us know. Either you can find us over on Blue Sky. I've got some stuff on Threads. You can go join us on our Discord, which is the easiest way to talk to all of us, where you can drop suggestions for thoughts and ideas there. And we can see about maybe adding in some of those questions or talking about it, which would be kind of entertaining. Subscribe to the show. That helps us out a lot. Leave comments, share it with friends, thumbs up on the YouTube videos, things like that, to help get the algorithm to put us out there for others to see. But beyond that, I've been your host, Jeremy Powers, joined once again by Steven, Chase, and Chris. And we're out. Peace.
Happy birthday, Xbox 360.
Red ring. This has been a production of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast by the staff at zenspath.com. The show is created and edited by Jeremy Powers. You can find the video edition of the show on our YouTube channel at ZenspathCom. The audio edition is located wherever you find your podcasts. Links to all versions of the show, as well as to our Discord where you can talk with us directly, is located at www.zenspath.com. Please leave us a like, thumbs up, comment, and review where you can to help us grow.